Go back. Yes, good enough. So can I start now? Are you going to connect?
Yes, sir, you can start.
Okay. Good afternoon,
I will
everyone.
just introduce you, sir. I'll just introduce you. Just give me a minute. Mr. Gupta is Managing Director and Director Projects at Sagarmala Development Company Limited. He has more than 25 years of experience in project appraisal, project development, project structuring, and project management and execution. On deputation to Indian Foreign Services as First Secretary at the Indian Embassy, Kathmandu, he was responsible for more than 300 projects and was involved in socio-economic assessment of projects, structuring of the contractual framework for asset management with government agencies of Nepal. Since joining SDCL in 2018, he's overseen investment in 5 projects amounting to 541 crores, and additionally 9 projects on coal, iron ore, slurry pipelines, seaplane for coastal religious tourism are under evaluation. Welcome, sir, and it is our pleasure to have you here with us today. You can begin with your presentation, and the audience can keep typing in their questions, and I'll take them once the presentation is over.
Thank you, Ritika.
Please start.
Thank you, Ritika, and good afternoon to everyone. Sorry for the inconvenience caused due to technical glitch. I think finally we are able to overcome that technical problems. So I have been asked to speak on the financing from Sagarmala side. So as you know, Sagarmala Development Company is a PSU attached to the Ministry of Port, Shipping and Waterways. Ritika, can you move to the next slide, please? So normally this is the 4 pillars. I hope people are aware about the Sagarmala program, but just I will take a 10 to 15 seconds. Sagarmala program has got 4 pillars. One is the port capacity augmentation. Second is the port connectivity. Third is the port-led industrialization. And fourth one is the coastal community development. I will not elaborate much on this because I think everyone related to the blue economy side is aware about the Sagarmala program, as it is the flagship program of the Ministry of Port, Shipping and Waterways. Next slide, please. So what was the objective of getting the Sagarmala program? The whole objective of Sagarmala program was that how to bring down the logistic cost and how to make our ports modern and bigger to handle the volume which is growing day by day. But at the same time, the influence of carbon was also increasing. And so our Honorable Prime Minister decided that let's increase the water share. So in the transportation sector, we wanted to increase the water share from 6% to 12%. And that's how the Sagarmala was evolved. So on all the pillars, except the 4th one, is connected with this logic only, that we have to increase the capacity because the industrial growth is there. So we need to handle the cargo smoothly. So the first vision was to how to increase the port capacity. And that we are achieving. I think the Ministry of Port, Shipping and Waterways is working a lot on this in this direction. They are offering birth to private players who are eventually increasing the throughput of the ports by making it more modern, making more computerized. Machines are being utilized in handling the cargo, and the turnaround time is certainly being reduced. Faster evacuation is possible because under Bharatmala scheme and because of the Railway Ministry, which is providing the railway network from hinterland to the ports, it is possible now to evacuate the cargo much faster way. And thus we are increasing the throughput. We have to understand if we keep on vacating the port premises faster, the more goods can be handled in the same area. So that's where the target is. The government is very keen in providing the railway linkage and road linkage to the ports so that the faster evacuation can take place. And all these things will lead to the reduction in logistic cost. The third pillar, which could not take off till now, is the coastal economic zone. The whole objective was that let's bring all the industries which is export and import oriented units near to the coastal line so that the logistic cost from hinterland to the coastal area can be reduced or rather minimized. And we will be near to the port, and from there the import and export can be much faster and much cheaper in terms of logistic cost. And that cost advantage can be passed on into the traders so that we can get much better offer in terms of export. Next slide, please. The Sagarmala Development Company was basically formed in August 2016 to finance those projects which can give value to the blue economy. And under that, the National Perspective Plan was developed in year 2016. And for all the programs which is coming under Sagarmala Vision, the Sagarmala Development Company was asked to finance those programs along with the state government, central government, and their agencies. And the objective of Sagarmala Development Company was obviously those 4 pillars, which is mentioned in the Sagarmala program itself. And we provide funding window in terms of equity support to the SPVs, which is formed with the central line ministry, the state government, state maritime boards, state tourism department, whatever is possible in the state side or the central government side. But it has to be a government body with whom, as of now, this is the mandate that we should work with the government body and form an SPVs for the implementation of infrastructure projects related to the Sagarmala, which can obviously give boost to the Sagarmala vision and bring down the logistic cost. There was a coastal development fund also, which I think the ministry is right now putting it a lot of money into the coastal development fund, and they are taking up projects and giving grants to the coastal community development through its various agencies to achieve this program. And as I told, the coastal economic zones is right now it is almost on hold, and we are waiting for the developments which for all other industrial nodes and industrial corridors which is happening in the country. Let it be first saturated, and let us see if there is requirement of the coastal economic zone. Then we will be taking this again. For this, a study has already been launched because all the almost industrial corridors are at places now, and we would like to study if there is any gap anywhere where the coastal economic zone can be located for the benefit of the industries. Then we will look forward for providing the coastal economic zone. Government is very serious on that, and we are taking all necessary steps to create coastal economic zones along the coastal lines near the ports. And we are in touch with the state governments to get the land for that as per the availability. Next slide, please. So just about a little bit about the Sagarmala Development Company. We have got an authorized capital of 1,000 crore. This is an initial authorized capital. And as I told, I am only allowed to form an SPV with the government bodies. And generally, I am allowed to provide 49% of the equity. The rest 51% of the equity has to come from the other players. And the private players, and we are trying to increase the participation of private players by calling the EOIs. What I have called many EOIs in the year 2020 itself. And we are helping them, whatever, not directly in terms of the finance, but if any help is required from any other government body, then we are helping all the players who have come to us in those EOIs and asking the help, like sorting out the problems with the ministry, if any. If they write to me, then I always take up the matter with the concerned authority and try to sort it out and give feedback to them. That's how right now I'm helping them. And the private players are coming in a great way in all the programs of Ministry of Port Shipping and Waterways. You know, under Triple P, Ministry of Port Shipping and Waterways is offering many opportunities for the private players to come and make investment and be a partner to the growth of the country in the blue economy. So let's go to the next slide, please. That's how I'm showing that we provide a present capital. We are not in a hurry to take it out. Once we invest in the infrastructure, let it be there. And we provide the residual capital equity investment to cover up the shortfall and achieve financial closure. I will give you 2 examples for that. For the Krishnapatnam Rail Company Limited and Haridaspur Paradip, where at the last end moment, I have to put in equity to make this operational. I am happy to announce that because of my equity infusion, both the projects are now operational. We also play the role of facilitator. We take all the DPRs and project studies, traffic studies, we do all on behalf of the project, and we develop it, and then we form an SPV to launch that project. We coordinate with all the agencies for the holistic development of that project. If any intervention is required from any of the government department, SDCL, takes lead and goes to all those places and coordinate and try to sort out all the bottlenecks and take the project forward. Next slide, please. We are just showing what are the things where we can work. We can work in the ports, we can work in the logistic parks, we can work on the railway line, and in, obviously we can work for the industrial parks. But keeping in mind that SDCL work in all those areas, but somehow this should be related with the blue economy only. I can't go in hinterland and work for the railway line there. It has to be give connectivity to something happening in the ports. Next, please. See, I joined here in July 2018, and then after obviously most of the time has gone into the corona, but still we are working hard in during these times, and we have provided equity to these 5 projects. Krishnapatnam Rail Company, as I was mentioned, this is the residual equity which was required. Another is the Haridaspur Paradip Railway Line in the last, you see, where we have provided 336 crore as an equity. Indian Ports Global Limited, you better people knowing it by the Chabahar Port. We know the Kolkata Haldia Port Limited. This is a road which is coming to the Haldia Port. This is called NH41. And Visakhapatnam Port Road Company is another small road where we have done the works. So these are the 5 projects we have already done. I think not in the last 3 years, but yes, in the active 1.5 year, we have done all these things. But in the Corona period, we are struggling. But during this Corona period, almost we have evaluated 9 to 10 projects which are under active evaluation, and we might be putting in a lot of equity into these projects in this financial year and in the next financial year. Next, please. I will give a brief how our system is working. You see this Krishnapatnam Port to Ovarapalli line, which is shown in the red now. You see a dotted line which is connecting actually to Indian Railway, which is coming from the Nellore to Renigunta and then Ovarapalli. Earlier, this is the line which is being used by the Krishnapatnam Port after getting it connected to the. This is the first mile connectivity, I will say, for the rail, which we have shown the blue dotted line, Krishnapatnam to Indian Railway. And then it is taking the route from Nellore to Renigunta, and then it is going to Ovarapalli. Now we have made a direct line, you see in the red line, which is showing. Thus, we are able to reduce almost 72 kilometers of the distance. And you will be happy to note that earlier this train used to take at least 24 to 36 hours to reach to Ovarapalli. Now it is reaching almost in 3 hours. So this is a huge saving in terms of time, and for railway, it's a huge reduction in the turnaround time of the railway rate. Similar is the story for the next slide. If you see, this is Indian Port Global Led. Although I have mentioned in the earlier slide that normally I provide only 49% equity, but in this case, exceptionally, we have gone for 100% equity, and IPGL is the subsidiary of the Sagarmala Development Company Limited. And you know, a lot of business is happening nowadays through Iran. We are eyeing on it to approach to Central Europe, and a north-south corridor is likely to happen in coming future. Then after, the importance of this port will grow many-fold. Next slide, please. This is a small sort of Kolkata Haldia port. This is the actual route which is being shown, and my partners are NHAI and Kolkata Port into this. Next slide is the Visakhapatnam Port Road Company Limited. Again, my partner is the Visakhapatnam Port Trust and the NHAI. And we have gone into this. Next is the Haridaspur Paradip line. And this is the similar story. This was the railway line, I think, getting constructed for last 10 years. But in want of the residual equity, the project was hanging. And we analyzed it financially, and then we provide the equity of almost 300 crore plus. And then this project got take off. And I'm happy to say that finally this line is on, and a lot of traffic is moving on this railway line. Next slide, please. Now I would like to talk about what are the new projects which are going to take up. This is the construction of covers storage shed. The coal is a problem at Vizag Port because a lot of dust is being spread in the air. So to avoid that pollution, Sagarmala Development Company had joined the hand with the Vizag Port, and we are taking up many projects there. Like one is the this construction of covered storage shed. We are also taking a bridge inside the Vizag port complex because there are 7 to 10 railway lines crossing the port area, and every time the truck has to stand. So for the free movement of the trucks, we are providing an overbridge at a cost of almost 300 crore. This is also on record. We are also going to provide a truck parking facilities. We are also looking forward for develop upon FTWZ near the airport of 125 acre. And these projects are all under consideration. I hope they will be getting started in the next financial year. Next slide, please. Another project we are taking up the seaplane. Government of India through Ministry of Port, Shipping, Water and Ministry of Civil Aviation is trying to bring it this new aviation tool, that is the seaplane, which is not very known thing in my country. We have started this operation through SpiceJet in Gujarat. Somehow that got stocked up, but now SDCL and Gujarat government PSU Gujarat is joining hand, and very soon we will be signing an MOU within next month. By the end of February, we will be signing the MOU to bring in planes through government agency, and we will be providing it to the private players to operate, so that the availability of plane will not be a problem. And once it's become operational, and by learning lessons from all these operations, we will be developing it to the other field. I have shown you the many OD pairs in the map, which was the result of the EOI, which we have called in December 2020. Ministry of Civil Aviation is working all these OD pair. They are called tenders. And we, along with the goods sale and other agencies, we will be also spreading our wings and covering many other OD pairs, except in Gujarat, for operation of seaplane. All the facilities are being created by Ministry of Port, Shipping and Waterways with the help of state governments, and the concrete jetties are being prepared, and water drums are also being constructed in different states. We are also thinking of on the container manufacturing side. This is a project on the iron ore slurry. Also, we have discussed many projects with the many players. So these are the few, like in Gujarat, in the Okha Mandvi, we want to operate passenger ferry services. There also, we are also looking forward to see the things happening. And we are in process of discussion with the Ministry of Port, Shipping and Waterways. And once the things are cleared, we will be going to the EOI for calling the private players for operational of that. We will be completing all the infrastructure required, and then after we will offer it to private players to come and put their money for operation of this Okha Mandvi. This is a very good framework because the road and bus journey is almost of 12 hours. And if a high speed 16 knot is there, then I think we can complete the journey by 1.5 hours, and almost no pollution will be there. So that's a great start in the Okha Mandvi sector. On the MOPSW side, if you say many RoRo and RoPax services is going to be started in this year, of year 2022, and a lot of money is being pumped from the Ministry of Port, Shipping and Waterways, from Sagarmala sale to get all the jetties ready, all the facilities are getting ready, and in a couple of months you will be seeing huge changes in terms of RoPax and RoRo services. And I hope we will be able to reduce the carbon pollution on the road by a great number. Next slide, please. Few challenges which we are feeling is that we have only got single product offering till now, only through the SPV framework. Although we are finding it too challenging for us for going ahead with the private people, because we are not able to provide any finances to the private sector. For that, we are looking forward to our business diversification, for which the plans have already been moved from my office, and they are under consideration to the ministry. Once it is going to come back after approval of the cabinet. Perhaps we have great plans of financing the government as well as private sector in the shipping side, not on the land infrastructure port side, because in the port side, I know banks are able to provide you loans and all, but the shipping side, the providing loan is a huge problem. That too, a loan for a longer duration is a much bigger problem, and this sector needs a lot of help in financing for the long-term finances at a reasonable rate, perhaps which is not coming from the banks. I am looking forward that if the things goes all right positively from the government side and if they give us approval, very soon we will be able to provide such resources to the private sector also in coming future. Obviously, land acquisition, everybody know has a problems in that, but I am very happy to say whatever project we have undertaken, we have to get involved with the government, the state governments, go and talk to them, multiple talking. Obviously, finally, we are able to acquire all the land. If there is any hindrances, the chief minister and chief secretaries are always there to help us out, and they have helped us in the Haridaspur line, and the things were cleared, and finally the railway lines are running. Next project, please. Next slide. Now, I have been asked to speak also on the private sector role in maritime sector. I know the private sector are very wise and they know much better than me, but just to give a brief on this, they are playing very important, crucial role in the development of maritime sector. As of now, most of the berths, as Mr. Kotak was mentioning, he is already having so many berths and he is involved almost all the spheres of that. Many players, international players, national players are coming in and they are participating in a huge way in the maritime development. And there is a push from the government to provide the enabling environment for bringing in the investment from the private sector. We are trying to bring more transparency. Ease of doing business has also been provided. Many softwares has been launched by the IPA. They are being utilized by all the players. This, you see the MCA, the revised model concession agreement has come for the PPP and it is already on. People are using that. New dispute redressal system is in place now. I think many of you must be aware about the Sarod portal, which has been launched by this ministry to address the problem of any dispute if they are having with the ports and all. Next slide, please. So all the initiatives being MOPSW, I think the Sagarmala sale and PPP sale of the Ministry of Port Shipping Waterways is already doing a lot of brainstorming on this, and all the suggestions from the private sectors are welcomed by the ministry and they are actually working on it. This government is very, very positive on this side. Honorable Minister is very positive on this side. He is working day and night on this and trying to provide all the relief which is possible from the government side to the private sector. Recently, on the 29th January 2022, hardly 2 days back, the MOPSW has issued a press release where they have shown that there are 963 initiatives under Triple P has been identified under this Maritime India Vision 2030 document worth 6,77,720 crore investment. Obviously, this will go in a long way. This is the 2030 plus, so almost 8-9 years are there. So there is a huge investment potential for private players. As Mr. Kotak was saying, that in the coming time, the future is very bright for this sector. The industrial growth is huge, and in these challenging times of Corona, after once this chapter of Corona is over, there will be an industrial growth, and we are expecting a very huge growth. And we are all ready with the port capacity. Right now, we have already achieved almost a port capacity of 2.4 billion ton, and we are utilizing hardly 1,400 million tons. So I think we have a scope of that. Still, there is a gap, and if the industrial growth takes place, we will be able to handle all those goods. As he was saying that private players have come in, the turnaround time is being reduced. They are using smart machinery with all computerization. So all infrastructure is there, all technology is there. We are going to upgrade. Ministry is helping the private players to come in, invest the money. Right environment is being provided by the government to the private players for making the right investment. You see, we have already completed 44,424 crore works in this financial year, last FY 21-22. This is already being completed in year 2021. And this 504 initiatives, which is mentioned here, this is already under implementation by Sagarmala and PPP wing of the ministry. So at the end, I would just like to conclude by saying that blue economy is having a very bright future, and private players are having a very good scope of making investment into the port sector, as the port sector is going to grow, as our industry and India is growing. And I'm looking forward for a great future for the blue economy. Thank you so much, and I wish you all the best in this corona epidemic, and I hope everybody remains safe. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. I would like to thank once again India Infrastructure for giving me opportunity to give my views on this financing of the maritime
Thank you
sector.
so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you, Mr. Gupta, very, very much for a very good presentation. I'll take some questions from the audience quickly. One is that, do you have any plans for greenfield port projects?
See, ma'am, the greenfield projects, obviously I can take it. There is no problem in that. But as I mentioned, as of now, I am asked, rather I am mandated to only work with the government institution. If any government, state government want to make a greenfield project, they are more than welcome to me. And if they can put up the proposal, we will certainly look into that. But only as of now, only with the government, not with the private sector.
Right.
But if the private sector is having any problem in having any greenfield project, he can come to me. I will certainly be helping him in for whatever possible. I will be helping him.
Right. And sir, does your organization have any plan to invest outside India also, or right now, no?
We have invested one in Iran, the Chabahar port. I have mentioned you the IPGL. This is my 100% subsidiary. So we've invested. If the government asks me to invest in the outside also, then well, not normally I go outside, but if the government asks SDCL to come forward and make investment outside the country, yes, we will be doing.
And also, sir, as you know, Vadhavan Port is one of the biggest projects that's coming in. So, do you have any plans to, play a role in the Vadhavan Port financing?
JNPT and we are already under talk, and I will be a partner into the Badam.
Okay, okay. Also, sir, another question that has come is that in terms of asset monetization plan that government has taken out, is there any, like, are your monetization opportunities different from that, or are they going to be synergies between the two?
See, I am not monetizing any plans. The government is monetizing because they have their
Right.
infrastructure in place. They are monetizing on that. I am here to helping creating the infrastructure for the blue economy. I'm not going to obviously with the
Right.
monetizing. I don't know under what terms he's asking. SDCL. SDCL is a financing firm, financing company, which is providing finance in the SPV, which is involved in the development of the infrastructure required for the development of blue economy.
Right, right. And going forward, what are your plans for modernization and mechanization of government ports? Are you going to play a role in modernization, mechanization also?
As such, right now, I think the government is focusing only on PPPP, where they are asking private player to come in, take the work, make it modern. They are not directly putting in money. However, all the softwares which is required for operating the port on the national level and the international level, coordination between international and national, IPA is the nodal agency from the Ministry of Port Shipping Waterways, and they are doing all their bits by launching all the PCS softwares. And I think that's all they are doing from the modernization side, on the software side. As far as port modernization, none of the port has approached me for financing their, if they want me to finance their equipment, something like that, I will be more than happy if any government port is coming to me for asking those finances.
Right. All right. And sir, for Sagarmala, how does the funding work? Like, how do you raise your funds? Is it all from the government, or how does it work?
As of now, I told I have got the money from the government of India. And if in
Right.
future, if required, I will be borrowing the money from the market and then providing it to the this projects.
Okay, so this forward plan could be raising money from market through bonds or any of these sources.
For that, we have moved the plans to the government, and if they approve, we will be moving to the market.
And what sort of capex are you looking at, sir, for the next 2 or 3 years? What sort of
Anything,
what is the total?
obviously, we are ready to provide almost around 600, 700 crore of equity right now. I have the reserve this much, I can provide it.
All right. And do you have any plans for an IPO also in the future?
No.
Not right now. All right. On that note, we'll close the session. Thank you so much, Mr. Gupta, for joining
Thank
us
you.
and sharing the plans of Sagarmala Development Authority. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.